you ever looked at a beautiful French recipe and felt like you were trying to read a secret code? Well, today we are cracking that code. We're going to step right into a virtual French kitchen to learn the language so you can cook with the confidence of a real pro. Let's get started. So, take a look at this. This gorgeous dessert is an apple crisp, or as they say in French, a croustade aux pommes. Now, if that recipe on the left looks a little intimidating, don't you worry. By the end of this explainer, you are going to be able to read it no problem. First things first, any great chef always starts with their mise en place. That's a fancy French term that just means getting everything in its place. You know, all your ingredients and your tools prepped and ready to go. So naturally, let's start by looking at our chef's toolbox. Okay, here they are, the 4 essential utensils we're going to need. I'm sure you recognize all of them, but learning their names in French, that's a huge first step to mastering any recipe from a French kitchen.
All right, let's break them down. First, we have the spatula, une spatule, which is perfect for folding ingredients, say in our chocolate cake. Next up, the peeler, an Économe, and we're definitely going to need this for all those apples, les pommes. Then we have the masher, un Pilon, great for potatoes, other veggies, and of course, the classic wooden spoon, une cuillère de bois, for stirring pretty much anything and everything.
Okay, so our tools are ready to go. Let's switch gears and talk about the ingredients. Specifically, how do we talk about more than one of something? French plurals can be a little different from English, but trust me, once you see the pattern, it's actually pretty simple. So when you're reading French, you'll often just see an S added to make something plural. One apple is pomme, but several apples are pommes. Easy enough, right? But here's the catch. When you say it out loud, that final S is almost always silent. So how in the world do you hear the difference? You have to listen for the tiny word right in front of it, which is called a determinant. For just one apple, you'll hear la pomme. For a bunch of apples, you'll hear les pommes. That little word les is your big clue. And now we get to the real heart of any recipe, the instructions. Recipes are really just a series of commands, right? Mix this, add that, bake this. In French grammar, this is called the imperative, and it is absolutely the key to understanding what you're supposed to be doing. Check this out. This slide shows the difference perfectly. On the left, you've got a simple statement of fact. Vous mélangez la farine, which just means you mix the flour. But on the right, you see the command. Mélangez la farine. Mix the flour. See what happened? To make it a command, you just drop the subject, the vous, and suddenly the verb itself becomes the instruction. This is the pattern you're going to see in pretty much every French recipe.
Here's a perfect example pulled straight from our apple crisp recipe. It says pelez les pommes, which means peel the apples, and coupez-les, meaning cut them. These are direct, clear commands telling you exactly what to do. No you needed, just the action.
And let's look at one more, this time from a chocolate cake recipe. Faites fondre le beurre et le chocolat. Melt the butter and the chocolate. It's that exact same direct command structure. You see? Once you start spotting this pattern, French recipes stop looking like a confusing puzzle and start looking a whole lot more like simple, easy-to-follow instructions.
So, we've got the grammar basics down. Now, let's put it all together and look at the key action verbs you'll actually find in the kitchen, starting, of course, with our apple crisp recipe.
These 4 verbs are really the backbone of this whole dish. We've got to peel, peler, to sprinkle, saupoudrer, to mix, mélanger, and finally, to put in the oven, mettre au four. Let's actually visualize what these actions look like.
Okay, let's focus on that first key action, to peel, peler. As you can clearly see here, this is the very first thing we need to do with our apples. Get that skin off so we can prepare the fruit. Our next really important verb is to sprinkle, saupoudrer. And in the recipe, you'll see that command we just talked about, saupoudrer, sprinkle. It's telling you to add the brown sugar and later the cinnamon to get that perfect light coating over everything. And there you have it, the essential language of the French kitchen, from the tools and ingredients all the way to the commands. You are now totally equipped to tackle these recipes with confidence. So, the only question left is, which one are you going to make first? The fruity apple crisp or that rich, decadent chocolate cake? Whatever you choose, bon appétit!